Okay, again, this is under the Sebring dashboard, changing out a heater core, and I don't know if you can see very well. We've got good light in here, but looks like the new heater core, which I got Vista Pro, which is actually better than the Spectra. It's not as good or as heavy as the original. This is the original, and you can see there's more tubes in it. And here's the replacement. It's a little lighter. It's got some plastic in it, and it's actually a very good quality one, and it's better than another one, which is actually a very good quality one. It just fits up in here. You can see that. That's the opening. This right here. I don't know if you can see that well. Here it is. Now, what you have to take out on this is the glove box. First, you take out the main console, though. Now, I saw some instructions online, and they're talking about taking out the rear light off the console and the top-down switch and everything. That's not correct. There's only one main harness wire, and let me just see if I get the light on here. It's this right here. And you can see here's the brake. So it's right next to the brake. So when you take the bolts out of the console, you just need to lift it up and disconnect right here. That's it. You don't need to take anything else out. That's some of the instructions were not correct. The dash, this thing actually, it's pretty easy to work on. I've worked on General Motors, and the dashes on the General Motors are made out of some flimsy plastic, and they can crack pretty easy. This dash came out pretty easy, no problem. It's pretty flexible. You have to take off both the side panels on the dash, and they snap out. There's a you got to take out the front console. Just a note, down here, this wire coming through, I don't know if you can see this well, but right there, you see that white plug? That's your O2 sensor. So I untangled this wire and made sure the wire will drop down through the floor. If I ever need to change the second O2 sensor again, it'll make it a lot easier. Now, another thing on this typical problem with these cars, a little minor problem, on this control, which is the for inside air, outside air. Well, you could see here, there's really nothing wrong with the controls per se. What happens is, there's nothing wrong with the cable. The cable doesn't get rusted. What happens is, it goes all the way back in here on the side. So if you took out the glove box and you snapped off this side of the dash on the passenger side, you can get at this and spray it down with a lot of lube. I don't know if you can see this, but it turns. It's the stuff on the side. So what you would have to do is take out the glove box to get at these controls on the side. I don't know if you can see this moving. You can probably hear it. The thing moves now, at least. So you'd have to unsnap the side, the passenger side of the dash on the right side, and after you take down the glove box, then you can get at this very well. Now, to take down the glove box, it's extremely simple. There's 3 bolts. I know this is probably not a great video, but let me put it this way, it's better than no video. There's 3 volts, and nothing about taking down the plastic or anything. There's one right here. Okay, that's on the left side. And on the right side, you got one right here. And you can see here's the vent for the dash coming down. Here's one right here. And then there's one right here, you know, where the door jamb is. that's underneath that plastic that you wouldn't see until you pulled it off, that plastic on the right side of the dash. Now, to pull down the, what do you call it, the glove box, it's very simple. You know, you take out those 3 bolts, but first, to pull it, drop it down, all you have to do is, here, you got, light's going off. Anyway, this, you just drop it down, and here, these will squeeze in. This will squeeze in. You just squeeze this in, and then this part right here, I'm pointing to, it'll just drop past the stop if you squeeze this in. That's all. That's all you have to do. It's very simple. There's a few places where wires are grounded, and one of them is under the driver's dash. Yeah, here it is. There's a ground right here. This has to be grounded again when they put the this little panel back up again. This will have to be grounded again. I left the bolt on there just to remember, you know, screw to remember to put it back. As you can see, you have to take out the dash. You have to take out the lower dash. You don't have to take out the radio. And these console controls, you just have to drop them down. And then this all slid out. So right now I could slide a new one in. I already took off the intake manifold, upper intake manifold. I already installed the new heater hoses on the one side where they took off those quick disconnects, which are a pain to actually take off without the right tool for that. So I'm all ready to start putting this back together. But I wanted to point out, you know, this typical problem with these turning that one thing on a control. You see this control, which is the outside air, the inside air, recirculating inside air or bringing in fresh air. These seem to stick, and what you have to do is you have to take out the glove box and take off that, well, actually first you take off that right side panel on the dash, the tan or gray, depending on what color your car is. You pull that off, and then you take 3 bolts out, and you squeeze together those pieces on the top I was showing you before, and the whole glove box will just drop out. Then you can get back in here and get at these controls way back here. I don't know if you can see them well because it's, you know, it's pretty dark to shine a light in there. But that's where they are. They're on the side, on the right side of the glove box, behind the glove box. Just on the upper side of the glove box, on the right side. So that's where the problem is with these, and it's always, they can't turn the controls because they get jammed up. But again, also on this door, the door that covers the heater core, there's 2 bolts on it. Okay, so you got one on the end and you got one in the middle on the opposite side. So that's it. So this thing should go back together. It is time consuming, but a little extra time I took was because on the console, you know, looking at what somebody else did, they could have just used a main harness disconnect off the console and it would have been a lot simpler. So, but all in all, this is not really all that horrible to do. It takes some time because you got to take the upper intake manifold off, and I mean that's some work right there and stuff. But it's not total rocket science. Okay, all right. Figured I'd just pass this along. If anybody's got a Sebring convertible. All right, bye.